Welcome to Football Focus Weekly, Week 5, folks. You see what we got tonight. We're running a little behind. We had a little bit of a technical issue that we hope will kind of straighten out here in a minute. But you see the schedule tonight. We got Pet Man's Players, sponsored by VTO Sports. We'll review Week 4, 30 dozen for the week. We'll do our county rankings, the CMS Best of Last, our Week 5 game previews and predictions. We got a special guest joining us at 9 o'clock, and we'll have a special host coming on the show a little bit later as well. And then we'll finish, as always, with Slime Time. So sit back and relax and get ready for the best internet prep football show in the Southeast. This is Football Focus Weekly with CFI, Charlotte Football Insiders. All right, welcome to Football Focus Weekly. Once again, Pet Man, Matt Morrow. We got technical issues going on all over the place. I'm trying to put the show out to the pages that we always do, and it's messing that up too, so just hang tight. We're going to have an interesting night here. We'll start out with your comments. Let's see. Chris Hagler, what's up, Pep and crew? Yep, we got some crew here that is going to be introduced in just a second. Chat administrator, big game. Absolutely. You might have some special guests at that game. Stay tuned. Coach Gilmore tuned in. Another big game. Coach Gilmore with A.L. Brown Wonders. We'll talk about that game in a little bit. Nikisha Ricks, Rocky River Star Reporter. What's up? Glad to have you. All right. Big Shelby's in the house.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on?
Big Shelby with a big win last week, baby.
Yeah, you know, we just got to keep on rolling, man. That's all.
That's right. That's right. And the engine and professor.
Let's see. Am I on? Can we hear me?
You're on.
You're on. We always can hear you.
We hear you when we don't hear you. And we got more people joining us. Jonathan Leach, what's up, man? Thanks for watching.
Hey, I'm Jonathan Leach. We ain't here. Thank you, Jason Bass. Thank you.
Jason Bass.
And it's Pet Man. That's it. This is Pet Man show. That's it.
That's all they say. What's up, Pep? That's all they say.
Just Pet Man.
Reggie Daniel, what's up, fellas?
My dog.
There you go.
Yeah, I would like to welcome Big Shelby to the show. He's making his debut, apparently, you know. Big Shelby's on the show now. Y'all didn't know that. Big Shelby is live.
Some people were not aware that you were a part of the show for.
Yeah, I know, man. That just means I haven't done enough yet, man. I haven't done enough.
All right, so listen, we can see we can stir up some controversy, man.
That's what we do.
We are not sponsored by Wings, etc., Joe Hughes.
Yeah, my boy Joe. Hey
Not
Joe,
at
I ain't
all.
getting back. Hey Joe, I'm not going back either, baby.
Oh, thanks, Nikisha. Jonathan Leach, congrats, Big Shelby. Keep it rolling. There you go.
I appreciate it, man. All my Charlotte followers, man, drop some wing spots I can go to when I come visit Charlotte. I've been in Charlotte about every weekend, and I always go to American Deli. But I need to try some.
Oh
different wings.
no, we can't do that. No. We got
American Deli wings. They so tiny, man.
Oh yeah, they're terrible.
They're good, but
I
they're
didn't
tiny,
mean that.
They're
They're
good,
very efficient with their wing size. Derrick Chambers, what's up, man?
Nice
CFI After
dog.
Dark. Special guest last week. Good to see you, man. Checks. Yeah, Checks wings are pretty good.
Yeah, I
They're
gotta go
pretty
to
good.
Checks. I'm gonna go to Checks.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Absolutely. I was gonna wait to address this, but Tim Pride, I saw your comment. So yes, this happened. I went on Talking Preps. I was invited, and I went on there, and we talked about the showcase, and it was good. But I was on the game show. They do a game show over there every week, and I was up against Sam Griner, the West Charlotte illustrious head coach, Hollywood superstar.
God,
And, I feel like it was rigged. I feel like they rigged it for Sam to win because they had a question about Christian music. Now, Christian music is great. Don't get me wrong, but we're talking football. I expected, football questions. Not
for the record, Pep, look up Crowder with KB, man. Crowder with KB throws the house down.
That was one of the choices. I chose Crowder, and I was wrong. I don't know who Crowder is, but it looked good to me. And that's why I lost.
Beautiful beard. Dude can sing, plays piano, the guitar, but he's got a hot one with KB, man.
Hang on, man. I got all the football questions right.
Yeah, they did you wrong on the Carolina Panthers one, man. That was bull job.
It's all right, man. It's okay. Some people think I should go back on there for a rematch, but I'm not that guy. Some people want to win on the game show. Some people want to have the best internet prep show in the Southeast. So
it's like going to your best wing spot downtown or uptown Charlotte. What's it called? The French Quarter, and then going to Wings, etc. You know what I mean? Like why go back to Wings, etc. when you got the French Quarter right here?
That being said, we're already off topic, so let's get started with Batman's players. We'll come back to you guys in a few minutes. Oh my gosh. All right. So you guys are on fire already. All right. Batman's Players sponsored by VTO Sports. VTO Sports does camps all over the country. One of the best camp runners that have been out there. They've been doing it for a long time. Make sure you check out VTOsports.com for your camp needs. All right. That being said, tonight's Petman's Players leading off with Weddington quarterback Tyler Budge. I saw him up close and personal last week and their big win over Argykill. I thought he was impressive. He had 3 touchdown passes. Really good pocket presence. That Weddington offensive line did a good job as well. And really good arm strength. And their win over Argykill, you see his Twitter right there, at Tyler_Budge12. A lot of great passes down the field. They had 2 beautiful fade routes down the sideline to Griffin Reimer and Zamiel Patterson for touchdowns. He also hit the young receiver Gilbert in the slot for a touchdown. He had a beautiful touchdown, second touchdown pass to Zamiel Patterson. Maybe he had 4 touchdowns. I might have to go back and correct that, or maybe I'm remembering one of those wrong, but all in all, you can see the Weddington game plan was to attack the Argykill secondary, and they did that really well, and they picked up a big win. On the other side of things, Argykill running back Baylor Morgan, he had a long touchdown run. He had a few other impressive runs for the Knights, despite their loss. I love his toughness and his vision. He's really impressive on inside runs and off-tackle runs. It feels like those were the 2 things that he did really well. And he's a really good complement for that offense with Josh LeClaire and those guys getting things done. And then you mix in Brooks Stankiewicz and Ethan Pursuti. It's tough to stop him. He did a heck of a job in getting that win. We go over to Cuthbertson. Wide receiver Keenan Jackson, 12 catches for 182 yards and the game-winning catch in their victory over South Meck. Highly recruited young man. His Twitter is at Keenan Jackson 24. Our boy, he's going to be on here every week, it feels like. Northwestern, running back Turbo Richard. I love his name. He's the best name that fits his play style, 11 carries for 213 yards and a touchdown, and another big victory for Northwestern. And I saw Coach Wofford's dancing again. I got to start getting those clips out there. That's good stuff. Twitter is at Turbo Richard 1. Over to Covenant Day, big win over Metrolina Christian. Wide receiver Alex Koulovatos, 2 receiving touchdowns and a pick 6. I saw the film. The pick 6 was great acceleration and breaking on the ball, and he took that untouched to the end zone. And then his 2 receiving touchdowns, one-on-one on the sideline on those routes, and high pointing the football. Really, really good player right there for Covenant Day. And that's going to be a team to watch, in their conference. They're really getting things going over there. So good job for those guys. All right, let's move on to the next one. Chambers, a lot of people were bragging on this young man. Running back, Braylon Vincent, 15 carries, 131 yards, and 3 touchdowns in their victory over Hickory Ridge. You see his Twitter right there is his name, at Braylon Vincent. Real smart. Make your Twitter your name. It's easy for coaches to find you when your Twitter is your name and nothing crazy. All right, moving on to Mountain Island. Athlete Nate Eaton, 12 carries for 108 yards with a rushing touchdown. He also had 10 tackles on defense and 2 tackles for loss in their victory. You see his Twitter right there, at Nate Eaton _32. I watched a little bit of his film. I was impressed with the young man. Mountain Island's going into a big game this week against Pine Lake, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit. Country Day, quarterback Khalil Wright, second time being on Petman's Players, 3 touchdown passes and a touchdown run against Asheville School. There was a high-scoring game. They couldn't pull it out, though. You see his Twitter right there, at the right time 4. Talented young man right there for the Buccaneers. Another stalwart, North Stanley, linebacker Jay Jackson, 8 tackles and 2 sacks in their victory over West Stanley. I love this young man's game. I love his passion for the game, most importantly. Twitter is at NCJ704. Good job, Jay. Back over to Chambers, defensive lineman. Seems like he's been on here a couple times. Zarion Jackson Bass. I've heard many people talk about him this week after his performance last week. 5 solo tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 2 strip sacks in their victory over Hickory Ridge. You see his Twitter right there. Jackson Bass, the 4s replaced the A's. Jackson Bass right there, all caps. Over to Olympic. The Trojans having a great start to the season. Quarterback Elijah Holmes, 400 total yards of offense and 4 touchdowns in their victory. You see his Twitter right there, Eli Holmes 12. Take out the O and the E. Eli Holmes 12 on Twitter. I wrote about him on Prep Red Zone, along with a couple other deserving players that have had a great start to the season. And Eli, being a senior, being in the system for his second year, doing a really good job. For a team that is doing a really good job that some people seem to be surprised about, not this guy right here. All right, let's move on to our last slide for Petman's Players. Back in Pine Lake, wide receiver Aiden Ziegler, second week in a row he's on here. 4 catches, 114 yards, and he also had a rushing touchdown in their victory over Starmount. Aiden doesn't have a Twitter, but you're going to have to get one, Aiden, if you're going to see on here. If people want to recruit you, man, you keep on playing like that, we got to get you on Twitter. But you can go to Pine Lake Prep FB on Twitter. And if you need to get in touch with Aiden, that's a good way to get him up right there. Northwest Cabarrus, Ray J. Waters. I think the second time for Ray J on here. 120 rushing yards and a touchdown and a victory over Mount Pleasant. You see his Twitter right there is his name, Ray J. Waters. Good job for Ray J. I like watching his film, man. I like the way he runs. Really good vision. Can do some things in space as well. Whew, this young man, linebacker B.D. Waddell V. Good Lord, man. He did not want another pizza party on the half of West Neck. 12 tackles, 5 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, a defensive touchdown, 87 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns. And their big victory over Harding, 56-8. I'll tell you, BD, good Lord, man. That is super impressive right there. You see his Twitter at BD_V. Great young man right there. Coach's son, continuing to do a great job for those West Meck Hawks, who got a big one this week. Undefeated, going up against Chambers. We're going to talk about it in a little bit. Independence Patriots, DJ McFadden came on the CFI Live show and shared these stats with us. Quarterback Justin Little, 19 of 23, 342 yards, 5 touchdowns plus 42 yards rushing, and another touchdown in their victory over Hopewell last week. Twitter at Justin_Little_3. I'm going to say he's the best sophomore quarter. Ooh. I almost said it. That's going to be a good debate. We need a debate segment. Better sophomore quarterback, Justin Little or Zach Lawrence from Butler? That's a good debate right there. We'll think about that one. All right, Shelby. Big win. I'll bring Big Shelby on. What do you want to say about those two guys right there?
Dalen Lee, quarterback, 11 for 17, 247, 4 touchdowns, man. His birthday is actually today, so happy birthday to QB.
Hey! Nice.
Then, Isaiah Bridges just doing what Isaiah does, 5 catches, 148, 2 touchdowns. We had some bigger performances. I know a lot of guys couldn't make the list, but I know my guy Tristan Tate had forced a fumble recovery, and a recovery for touchdown. And TJ Griffin had 6 tackles, 3 sacks, and forced a fumble. So we had a lot of guys, man, that stepped up and kept playing hard. So that's all we can ask for, man. Hope we just keep building on these, man.
Absolutely, man. Once again, congratulations getting in the win column. And those guys showed out at the HBCU Carolina Showcase as well and picked up offers. Good job, Big Shelby. All right. I'll come back to you guys in just a second. Once again, if you are interested in being featured on Petman's Players, make sure you tag us on Twitter in your highlights. Send us your stats. You can also DM your film and stats. You can also send us a message on Instagram at Charlotte Football Insiders. I had some people submit stats that way. If you don't tag us and you don't send them to us, it's a very limited pool that we pull from that do not send that stuff in. It's usually from the games we attend and maybe some coach recommendations. But make sure, send your stuff in, tag us. That's the best way to be featured on Petman's Players. Once again, sponsored by VTO Sports. All right. Now, I'm going to stop the screen share because I'm going to introduce a special guest host this week, and it may be something that we continue to do depending on how good he does. He is the offensive coordinator for the Providence Panthers, and that is Coach Jeremy Johnson. What's up, Coach?
Hey, Pep, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, man. How you doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Good. It's glad to have you on the show, man. Coach Johnson's going to be with us all night, and, we'll let him weigh in on a couple things. But first of all, I got to ask you about, the Luke Bailey incredible record-breaking game, man. How cool is that to be the OC for something like that?
A special night. You put it in the memory bank forever. I told all the kids, I said, store that in your memory bank. Things like this don't happen so often, and just special. And Luke, the effort and the grit, we talked at halftime, 5 touchdowns. I was like, Luke, I think the record's 9. We looked it up earlier, when he got 5 the week before against South Meck. We looked it up, and I was like, it's 9. I was like, man, let's go for it. And his eyes just lit up. And, when you got a special player like that is about the moment, that is Luke Bailey. He is a gamer. You turn a set of lights on, he'll be there and show you who he is. And he's a ball player.
Absolutely. It's funny. Coming out of halftime, he came up to me and said, "Coach, I'm going for the record."
Yeah.
And that's when I was screaming on the sideline. Dang, what is the record? What is the record? Well, that's pretty cool, man. We're going to talk about you guys going up against Charlotte Catholic in a little bit. But before we do that, we're going to bring the crew back because we're going to review a little bit of Week 4 action and talk about our storylines for Week 4. So we're going to get that up here. All right. Well, Week 5. We was talking about Week 4, but anyway. Chambers and Huff, full dominance last week. I mean, how impressive was that? Kenneth, you were there with Chambers. What are your thoughts on, that performance?
Oh, I said it Friday night in the After Dark show. Chambers' defense is so fast. They're so physical. They swarm to the ball. I mean, I'm talking about when they hit the quarterback, it's not just bats hitting the quarterback. It's 6, 7, 8 guys hitting the quarterback all at one time. I mean, Hickory Ridge's quarterback played lights out, but that joker needed a lot of ibuprofen Saturday morning. They're just so fast. They're so physical. Now they have multiple running backs that they can lean on, of course, plus the quarterback that can pull the ball down and take off for 35 or 40 and throw the ball for 35 and 40. And that was without KC playing on Friday night. It seems like they're really starting to click. Of course, we knew they would with Coach Littlejohn in there calling the offense. And the defense is just as dominating as they've been for a long, long, long time. Expect Chambers to make a deep run this year.
Absolutely, man. And then Huff, we talked about that game last week against Cox Mill. Seeing if Cox Mill was ready for, that big-time spotlight. Didn't really go their way. Anyone got some thoughts on, that Huff-Cox Mill game? I mean, Chad Administrator was there. His thoughts right here. Huff had far too much speed and completely controlled the game on both sides of the line against Cox Mill.
Well, what it does for Cox Mill staff is it gives them the opportunity to now see things on film where maybe their kids had gotten a little bit too high on themselves. When you win and you win big the way that they mostly had, it's tough for a kid to really take a critical look at himself. But whenever you kind of get spanked a little bit, now all that stuff that coach has been telling you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday about the small things, you begin to realize just how important it is. You begin to realize you're not quite where you thought that you were just a few days ago. And I think that this is going to be a big thing for Cox Mill. I think the Cox Mill is going to have a heck of a run for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Guys, anyone else want to weigh in on Chambers and Huff real quick?
Other two coaches, I'll talk for you. Don't worry. I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Weddington is still real. Saw that up close and personal last week. Big win over Ardrey 31-14. We talked about it last week. The defensive issues they had, I didn't see them last week. I mean, they really swarmed a good Ardrey offense and held them down to their lowest point total of the season. Weddington, real. You can almost call them a dynasty because every year in and year out, they're one of the best teams, if not the best team from Union County. What impresses you about Weddington? To me, it was their offensive execution. Tyler Budge, I had not known much about him, but he really threw the football well in that game.
Yeah, Pep. I mean, you're looking at 5, 6, 7 years of Weddington being really good football, and you knew when they had a rough start to the season that there's too much pride there, man. Those kids are not just good in football; they're good in multiple sports where kids are winning state championships as well. They're extremely technical. They're well coached. Obviously, they do things the small way. And so like we were just talking about with Cox Mill, now being able to see some things that maybe the coaches had been saying, Weddington had a couple of those moments already. They had a couple Saturday mornings where the coaches were really getting after them pretty strong. And now I think once again you're going to see Weddington start to become more the Weddington that we've been used to seeing now for 5, 6, 7 years.
Big Shelby, you're playing wedging on JV. Excited about that?
Yeah, I'm excited for the guys, man. I think it'll be the first time that our JV team ever gets to play a 4A JV team, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think when we played South Point a couple years ago, I don't know if the JVs got to play each other, but our JV boys, they're up for the challenge. We told them how Weatherton tradition is just as good as ours, man. They also believe in, we always tell our guys winning on Thursday helps winning on Friday. So our guys look forward to playing something different, playing a different style of football, playing some bigger guys. So, I think it'll be a fun night for our JVs.
Absolutely. Wish you guys the best of luck in that one. I seen their JV. They're pretty good. They shut out Butler a couple weeks ago in the JV game of the week, which that announcement is coming up. Don't let me forget. I always forget. Yeah. There's a lot of kids on Instagram waiting on that one. All right. I want to ask everybody this question. Is there too much media coverage now? And here's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about us because there's not a lot of shows, obviously that do this stuff. But I'm talking about on the sidelines Friday night. I mean, every Friday night now, you can go on the sideline and see about 7, 8 different media people, cameras, whether it's pictures, video, whatever it may be. It's a whole lot of different media out there. And I think it's great, but in your opinion, is it too much? Do they get in the way? Should this be regulated a little bit more? What do you guys think?
Yep, I'll take it. I mean, I think it's a great thing. Any kind of exposure for kids now, regulation-wise, check in with the AD, get a pass, make sure we're in the right spot. We know where we're supposed to be. I know I'm supposed to be old school, but kids deserve attention. They deserve the spotlight, and if it gets the kid an offer or a notice, I'm all for it. Love it.
I think. You can go ahead, Kim.
No, go ahead.
I know with us. I know at Shelby now we implemented having a pass list now as far as being on the sideline, but I don't think it's too much coverage. I think it's only one of those where I feel like if they're all on the sideline, I feel like if plays are going towards them and players are staying safe or guys are just recording things I always think you should run it by the coach before you should come to games and things like that, or just kind of get in contact with somebody like, hey, I'm coming to the game. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily saying coming to the locker room. I know we have people come to the locker room every once in a while, but they always ask and make sure. But I don't think it's too much media coverage. I think it's just perfect. I think it's with, like how Coach Johnson said, I think the kids deserve it. Anything that can help the kids, that can get offers or just another media outlets. I personally love it. I do think that you have to, with the better your team are or the bigger the games, you have to kind of preach to the kid like, hey, remember our goal is still the same goal. Don't be all in the camera. Like, if you're making plays, the camera's going to follow you. So I think for coaches, we just have to emphasize it more. I don't think it's too much for the kid. I think for coaches just have to emphasize it more, saying, hey, there's going to be cameras around. Stay locked in. Stay focused on the task at hand.
Yo, Pep, in 2015, 7 years ago at East Rowan High School, we put out one of the first hype videos in the entire state of North Carolina for high school. It was a summer deal. It was a 7-on-7 deal, and it was awesome. And the kids talked, and they had plays, all that kind of stuff. Just like Coach Johnson has said, just like Coach Webb has said, the more videos that you have on kids, not only is it just super, super, super neat, right? Like, Pep, how many times our age, right? Coach Johnson, probably not as old as me and Pep are. But how many times have we tried to get out the VHS tapes and try to watch our games, and the tapes are eaten up now? But now these guys are having state-of-the-line 4K Ultra, I don't even know what you call the cameras that are being used now, where you can see the sweat drops on their foreheads coming off their face mask. It's phenomenal. The stuff, the content that's being put out. I mean, Pep, we've got high schools in our area, right, that are better than most Division II programs in this state.
By far.
That are better than all Division III programs in this state, and that rival some FCS programs in this state. This is on the high school level. We are revolutionizing, is that a word? The way that you market and that you brand kids. Now, that is a big difference then in 2011, when we were playing a playoff game at West Rowan High School, and I think I've talked about this on the show before, when it wasn't media people with videos, it was knuckleheads who had snuck onto the field and cost us a playoff victory at West Rowan. That's a whole different story for another night. They were outside the 25. They were jawing at the back judge. The back judge calls a timeout, throws a flag, all that kind of stuff. What we didn't notice is while that was going on, because we're trying to figure out what the HE double hockey sticks is happening, we were lined up in our formations. We just were flabbergasted. While they saw that, West Rowan saw our formation on a fourth down. It was the fourth quarter, under 2 minutes to go. They made an adjustment. We didn't see it, and it caught us, and it probably cost us because we had the right play called for what they were in. But what we're doing now, the videos, the highlights, the more, the better. And even if you're not the one who's paying for it, there are so many children, so many student athletes who are benefiting from this. I say, let's keep going. Just let the coach know, let the AD know, especially like Webb said, if you're going to try to get in the field house.
Yeah. Well, this generated a lot of comments here. Joe Hughes says, hell yes. And I think I know where that's coming from. Tay, feel y'all, of course, not as good exposure for the kids. Okay.
I think some people are kind of, I think the question is different. I think some people are perceiving the question different than maybe what we're trying to ask. I think it's more so like, is it too much media where it's like just all these people on the sidelines or people just doing it just for the hell of it now? I think that's more so where the question going. Anything, we're all for any positive media outlet, but it is crazy when you look on the sideline and it's 10 people with a camera and 10 people taking pictures or 10 people recording. It is kind of crazy only because it's like, dang, where did all this come from, So,
if you've got to go through cameramen to find your quarterback, right, in between series to talk to him, that's an issue. Yeah. But if they're behind the press lines, and all high schools have press lines that go around the field. They don't come inside the 25-yard line. If they're following the rules, I mean, you look at we talked about this in the spring, right, in the COVID season. How many guys were at that Huff Chambers game? It was phenomenal. There were more cameramen than there were people, because what were they allowed, like 100 people in the stadium at the time? And all that benefits our young people, man. That's what it's all about.
That's true. That's true.
I don't think we got media lines at Shelby. It's a free for all on our side.
That's true. You got kids playing in the end zone. Like, what's going on? And you're shooing kids out of the end zone.
Hey, you gotta get it where you fit in. You gotta get it where you fit in. And Shelby, we ain't got no media line, man. You just come on.
The Claymore boys appreciate that too, because they got them some in the end zone too.
Chris Hawk, media coverage is great. Yeah, absolutely. Summer Blevins. Definitely should be regulated, but these kids deserve all the coverage. And that's a good point right there. The most joy I get is going to places that may not have that, videographer on staff or may not have that photographer on staff, and giving them, those kind of memories that, everyone's talking about right here. Benji Moose, I love it. Great pictures of your kids and memories of a very special but short period of their lives. Absolutely.
They've had incredible Pleasant the last couple of years. Shelly Tyson for years, and then who was the new guy? I've seen his pictures. Phenomenal pictures.
Absolutely. Let's see. Tay, Phil, y'all. Let me put this. You got to go through a process to be on CMS sideline. What if you don't have that media pass? It's funny. So real quick, we all had me, Kenneth, producer, and a couple other people had to get the media passes from the state. So they changed the process this year. It's on the app.
God, don't drives me crazy.
The funny thing, have you shown it? Have you had to show yours?
Yeah, every time I show it, the lady's like, "What the heck is that?" That's my media pass. Come on.
And that's my point. No one has told anyone that these are the new media passes. I'll wear my old one from last year, and they see my camera, and they're just like, "Come on in. Come on in." And so I think what's happening in a lot of these places is people just show up with cameras and, they get waved in, and, that's fine. But at the same time, I think the regulation has to be enforced because, like you said in your case, Kenneth, those people were just down there in a playoff game acting crazy. And if you know they're supposed to be there and they got their pass, then okay, then you deal with that outlet. You don't penalize, you guys, because they're on your sideline. But, that's just an example. But either way, I think there needs to be a little bit more enforcement, especially when you get to the playoff games. All right, Shelby and Richmond both getting into the win column. Is everything good at both of these schools now? My opinion, Big Shelby, I'll leave you out of it, but my opinion, I think you guys are about to get rolling, man. I think, that win probably did a lot of good. It got some, bad taste out of people's mouths and getting ready to go into conference play. And, I think your biggest threat, obviously, is the rival in Burns. But Richmond, I don't know. They beat Southview down in Fayetteville. And we know they're really young, but hopefully they'll be able to get it going as well. You guys want – what's up, producer?
Good to see everybody. Glad to be here. Glad to pop in.
We're glad you popped in as well. Anybody want to talk about Shelby and Richmond?
I don't really know too much about Shelby, man, but
really,
I think they'll just be just fine, man. We're just doing some adjusting, man, just controlling what we can control, keeping the kids afloat, man. I don't think nobody never panicked on our staff or none of our players, man. We just had to reshift, refocus. Our goals are still intact. We got long-term goals and short-term goals, So the only thing on our mind right now is winning the conference championship and getting a good seat for the playoffs. And long-term goals, like always, is like every coach is winning state championship. So we're all good, never panic. No, it wasn't a normal start that most people would look at, but you can never be perfect. You can never start out. I'm sure every coach, if they had to pick how they want to start out, everybody would want to start out 3-0, 4-0, but it doesn't work that way. So.
I got a Shelby comment. So, I hadn't vocalized this, but it kind of as the season started, I kept saying to myself, after that third game, I kept saying, man, they got to be probably the most talented 0-3 team ever, or one of the most talented 0-3 teams you'd ever see. Which it sounds crazy, but if you think about it, the talent didn't just evaporate from a state title team. It just, the dominoes wasn't falling how they wanted them, but the talent was obviously still there. And we've seen teams with rough starts going to make long runs. So, all they can really be they can't undo the first 3 games. They can only be worried about the upcoming games. So, I think not the position they wanted to be in, but they're they still got life in them.
To be honest with you, man, I love to be in this position only because of people start to write you off. So, it's one of those where we just got to keep winning and keep controlling what we can control. And, it's okay to be the underdog. There's nothing wrong with that. We just got to go out and just be ourselves. So, our battle each week and every day is the beating ourselves, trying to be the best we can be in practice, giving each other the best looks in practice. So, we always just competing with ourselves. And whoever's out there on Friday night, we just take care of those guys on Friday night. So, people gonna like us. People gonna love us. Ain't no parents been coming to feed us on Sundays yet, so I don't want enough. We ain't won enough this year yet. So normally the food's rolling in, so I guess we got to just work harder to get more meals this year. So I don't know.
Oh man, well come on, Shelby parents, where y'all at, man? They hungry.
They're great supporters, man. But normally, man, we walk in, Bojangles sitting there, chicken and dumplings, all type of stuff, man. We've been eating one of our coaches' wives chips and dip. So,
Hey, y'all got to settle for daggone liver mush sandwiches, man. Y'all better than that.
Now we love some liver mush sandwiches for meetings, man. I'll tell you
that. Joe Hughes, record of team Shelby lost to 8-2. They're fine. So, hey, Joe Hughes says you're okay. Y'all okay. There you go. Yep. All right, this one is for the coaches. I'm going to put myself and the producer in the background after I ask this. Fresh start. Conference season starts this week. What is your message to your team?
I'll take it first. 0-0. Everybody's at 0-0. playoff chances are wide open, open opportunity. Why, let's do all we can. Let's focus on these, this first conference opponent. It's a big deal. I mean, depending on who you play this week, I mean, you're talking about first or second place in your conference. I mean, it's a big deal, and non-conference is to sometimes to try things out and correct mistakes and move on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's a progression that we go through as coaches, right? Spring ball is to get you ready for summer ball. Summer ball is to get you ready for the start of fall camp. The start of fall camp is to get you ready for non-conference play. Non-conference is to get you ready for the conference, and of course the conference to get you ready for the playoffs. But now we're at the conference. This is the good stuff. This is what you've been waiting on. These are the teams that you know. These are the teams that you see every single year. These are the team that your kids are competing with to have the same girlfriends on. This is the teams that you want to beat. And like Coach Johnson said, you want to be 1-0 because you want to be at the top of the conference standings. You can be 0-3 in the preseason and be 1-0 and be first place in your conference. This is what matters. You've hopefully gotten out all of your kinks. You've tested out your new plays, your new wrinkles. You've tried this kid at free safety, even though he's really more of a linebacker. You put this kid in at guard, even though he's probably more of a tackle. But now hopefully you've found the combination that is the best combination for your team. And now is whenever things start to get real. These are the games that you play for. You don't make a T-shirt for winning your non-conference games. You make a T-shirt for winning your conference. And this is the next important part of the season.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more with both of you guys, man. It's a fresh start, a new start. It's a new season in itself, man. Conference play, you want to get out to a good start. You want to set the tone, send a message in your first game, no matter who you playing, so everybody can follow up, man. And the biggest thing, like you said, like non-conference, non-conference only helps you figure out who you got and how many dogs do you have. You kind of figure out, can you put this person with this person, or you find out yourself about coaching. Like, do we need to practice harder, coach harder? All those things in non-conference sets you up for conference, man. And this how, for the kids that's watching, man, this is how you make all conference teams. You don't make all conference teams because you had 200, 300 receiving yards week one, because none of those coaches seen those things, man. You have to put the stuff on film against the conference opponents, and you got to start out 1-0 each week from here on out, because these games are really what get you the playoff seeding you want. So, every week is a new week. It's 1-0 every week. That's the goal.
All right. Good stuff, guys. Appreciate that. Excellent. Got me ready for conference play. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's do it, Pat. I'm going to need some broken nut.
All right. Final question. Kenneth, how do players stand out to get recruited?
Well, you got to be a dude, right? I mean, you've got to be good. I mean, there are the obvious tangibles: your size, your height, your weight, your arm length, your natural abilities. But then when you make your highlight film, and we're now finished with 4 games, most of you, you have to put together that first highlight film. This is the first week that coaches are really going to take a look at it. And here's where I see a lot of kids making mistakes, common mistakes that I see. Mistake number 1, you go 45 seconds into a kid's highlight reel and you still haven't seen the first play yet. They've got their name. They've got their Twitter handle. They've got their coach's Twitter handle. They got the pictures where they look all iced out for their picture day on August the 7th. And then finally you get to second 45, and I'm going to be honest with you, I've already deleted it. And if I've already deleted it, and a college coach who's getting hundreds of these every single day, who has way less time than I do, he's already deleted it as well. Second mistake that I see, you finally get to the play, and there's like a 16-second wait before the ball is snapped. I gave my guys, when I made all my players' highlights for them, there was 1 second from the time the play clicked on until the time the ball was snapped, and I made it very specifically 1 second. I put the highlighter at 3/4 of a second before the ball was snapped. That's another mistake. Whenever players don't highlight themselves until the play has already begun. If you're a linebacker, college coaches want to see what your first steps look like. College coaches want to see what your angles look like. College coaches want to see where your eyes are. They don't want the play to be taken up to start and then be looking around, where the heck is number 54? And then, there you are making the hit. Well, where did you start? How did you get there? How did you play? Another mistake that I see is when players put their week 1 highlights first, all their week 1 highlights, and then all their week 2 highlights next, and then all their week 3 highlights next, and then all their week 4 highlights after that. No, put your best highlights first. Your most explosive plays should be the first 5 or 6. And if we're keeping it real with you, you've got no more than 5 or 6 plays to grab that coach's attention anyhow. Nobody's looking at your 4th minute mark on your highlight film. They're looking at your first 90 seconds because that's all the time they have. If they don't see something that makes you stand out, they're moving on to the next dude. It's just the facts. And then lastly, there's probably something that I could think. Oh, I know what it is. When you got guys playing both ways. Now, Big Shelby, I don't know how many guys y'all have playing both ways, or at Providence, y'all used to have some guys playing both ways. Not sure where y'all are now. But when you have all offensive highlights for 4 minutes and then all defensive highlights. Well, if you've got defensive highlights that deserve to be up front, those defensive highlights need to be up front. Once again, no coach is going to be like, well, I wonder when his defensive highlights start. Oh, there it is, 4 minutes and 33 seconds. That's not the way they work. You have to remember the time frame that they're on. Then whenever you send your stuff out, you need to send out your true height and weight. Now, if you're a 5'6" wide receiver, maybe I don't send out that I'm 5'6". But you need to send out wide receiver, 6'1", 185 pounds, and then put your GPA. Now, colleges are going to look at your core GPA. I only worried about the cumulative. That was the college's job to figure out that. Cumulative GPA, 3.1. Your school name, don't put SHS. There are 100 SHSs in North Carolina alone. I go to Salisbury High School. I go to Providence High School. Put in North Carolina if you're sending it out to an out-of-state college. And then put a little bit about yourself. 3-year starter. Put a little bit about yourself. Now, if I'm keeping it real with you, high school coaches do this all the time. But no college coach gives the flying flip about your statistics. If you're a defensive player, if I'm being honest with you, a lot of defensive stats are inflated. There's no way 4 players on the same team had 157 tackles in a year. It just isn't happening. No, 5 guys didn't have 23 tackles last game. It didn't happen. They're inflated. And not only that, but let's keep it real. Playing in a 3A league in Cabarrus County, I'll use us for example, is different than playing against Chambers and Mallard Creek and Huff and those guys. So my receiving stats in Cabarrus County doesn't mean a whole lot because you have to compare yourself to the entire state or the entire nation. That's what college coaches are doing. Don't worry about putting that stuff up on there. Don't worry about wasting valuable time putting your stats on there. But give a quick blip, long, strong. Maybe you put what your power clean is. Maybe you put what your 40 time is, your pro agility time. But here's another truth. College coaches don't give a flying flip what your bench press is either because they believe that their strength coach is the end-all, be-all, and they believe that their strength coach is going to make you into a player. They don't care what your bench press is. They don't care what your high squat is because I've seen some of your squats on video, and they're garbage. They shouldn't be counted anyhow. Don't put what your squat max is on there. Get to the point, send it off, and go. You should be following every single college coach you can find on Twitter. You should be DMing them. You should be sending them messages every time they post. Coach Lucky said it on the show, right? Mississippi Valley State. He said it. If you tag a college coach, especially for big schools, someone's going to see it. Now, you may only get one opportunity, but somebody's going to see it. Keep tagging them. Keep DMing them. Stay on your coaches to keep tagging them, to keep DMing them. Coach, do you have a prospect list? Coach, have you sent out your prospect list? Coach, what colleges have you talked to this week for me? Let me tell you, when a player asks me that question, Coach, what colleges have you talked to this week for me? I better be prepared to answer that. Because I was either saying, well, dude, you're not good enough to play, so I haven't talked to anybody yet. Or I said, actually, let me show you the colleges that I've talked to about you this week. That's how you stand out. You got to look the part. You got to have the grades. You got to be a good dude. But that highlight film better jump. Compare yourself versus other players of the same position. I see dudes posting stuff all the time, and honestly, be humble. right? Like you see dudes posting this crazy stuff about great players make great plays. I'm the best player in the world. And then you watch their film and you're like, dude, you're running a 5'6" 40 and you play linebacker. Like you ain't going to play football anymore. You shouldn't be playing high school football. Like be humble about it.
Hey, then I know. Well,
Yeah,
I know I can dive in a little deeper too with it, with my time of me coaching in college for a little bit. Guys that are getting recruited, let's say I worked at the D2 in West Virginia. When these coaches send your film in and things like that, D2s out of state will look at, say if you're from North Carolina, they're going to look and see if you have an LR offer. They're going to look and see if you have a Catawba offer. They're going to look at these offers and say, okay, well, if he doesn't have necessarily those big time schools in his state, they're going to be like, well, we might just pass up on them right now. Now, they may come back to you later on, but they may pass up on you. So, guys, you have to understand at the same time, too, recruiting is a different process for everybody. Some kids can wake up, score 6-7 touchdowns, get an offer the next day. Some guys, it may take, you just never know, it may take a while. That's not saying you're not a good player. It's not saying that that they don't want you. It just takes time. Things happen faster for others, and sometimes it's just a long process. And I had a parent ask me the other day about a 10th grader, talking about what camp should they go to. Me being
whoa.
talking about college camps.
Winter showcase.
But not for the 10th grader, though. We're not ready for him yet.
My bad. I'm sorry.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah,
My
no, you're
bad.
fine. I'm saying in general, I told the parents said they want me to be completely honest with them. I told them if you are a kid and you're a 7th, 8th, 9th grader, that's the time where you can go. Well, I'm just gonna go to this Clemson camp because I love Clemson. I'm gonna go to this Chapel Hill camp because I love UNC. If you go, you're gonna waste your money anyway. There's no point of going to these camps. As you get older, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, every coach knows if you're that guy, coaches are coming to the office and saying, hey, coach, I got a 9th grade that you keep your eyes on. Okay, cool. Bring them up to camp. If these coaches are not inviting you to their camps and you don't know a coach personally at these camps, you can save your $50 or $60 on going to these clubs, going to these camps. So as a parent, just ask your coaches, have a one-on-one coach. Ask your coach, say, hey, coach, I want to go to college. Realistically, am I a D1 kid, D2 kid, D3, or even JUCO? Like, don't take nothing personal, but you have to know what level of player you on each year you go, so your parents can save money.
From my observations, just listening to Coach McClamrock and Big Shelby, I think tempering expectations and having the proper outlook on where a kid is. From my observations, I haven't been directly involved in recruiting, but just observing, I think that's a big deal. Every kid, a lot of kids out there, they got dreams of, starting for Alabama and winning 4 championships, but, every kid isn't destined to be that. And, there's nothing wrong with getting a full ride, going to a D2 school and having your college pay for them. There's no shame in that. Every kid ain't an SEC kid, but, I think just in general, as a football community, we need to do a better job of, not downplaying the smaller schools because, that's great. That's still a great opportunity at the end of the day.
Yeah, great points, Paul. The elephant in the room is the portal. Measurables matter more than ever now. There's folks that come into Providence all the time, and they don't have as many spots. It's just what it is. Great points by Coach McClamrock on the highlights. Put the good stuff up front. We had that conversation probably back in July about our kids just trying to get ready, think about it. Let's imagine what this will look like. I think I'm going to be honest with the kid. I'm glad to answer that question. I'm glad to sit down with you, but we're going to look at those grades and have a realistic list because I've had kids that go stand in the back of the line at Clemson and get the T-shirt. I mean, let's be realistic.
Good stuff. Excellent, guys.
And then also piggyback. I just popped up in my mind. Also, to piggyback on what Kenneth said, when I was at my D2 in West Virginia, coaches put out certain times of the day where they watch the kids' film. And if you do not, but I'm be completely honest with you, it's hundreds and thousands of kids sending film. Each coach probably gets about 5 to 10 kids they can bring to the head coach and say, "Coach, we got to watch this film." The head coach, the position coach is going to watch it. The head coach is going to watch it. Then the whole staff is going to watch it. I promise you, they are literally going to watch your first 3 to 4, maybe your 5th play. That's all they're going to watch. They're not going to watch what you did, like Kenneth said, 4 minutes down the line. Some coaches that's been doing it a long time, they can watch your first play, say, "Yep, let's get them up on the visit." Right? So you got to really take your time and put your best plays first. Literally, your best play needs to be 1, 2, 3. That's all they're going to watch. Guaranteed.
And being diverse with it. If I'm a quarterback and I'm just throwing the 9 route, that's not going to show a college coach anything. So you can sling the ball far, but can you thread the needle? Can you throw the slant route? Can you throw the deep comeback route? Can you throw the dig route? Can you throw against man, but can you also find the grass in zone? If I'm a defensive end, can you bull rush? Can you also dip and rip? How well do you bend? If you're a linebacker, can you stop the run and get out and cover into space? Can you make a tackle into space? Whenever I would work with kids through their film, and when kids send me their film now, and I still get lots of film that I help kids with, I'm looking for different aspects of their game that can be utilized in those first 4 or 5 plays. It may be there are 2 fade routes in those first 5 plays, but it's not going to be all 5. I'll never forget one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. He had several Division II scholarship offers. I worked and worked and worked to make his highlight film look really, really, really good for him. And then that knucklehead deleted it and changed it, and it was all deep balls. And I called him up and I said, "Dude, let me tell you something. If you know more than I do about getting yourself recruited, you take over. I won't mess with it again." And he realized he had messed up. But show diversity in your game. Coaches want to see you being able to do lots of different things.
Guys, that was amazing. And the funny thing is, when I put that question on there, I was just trying to plug the dang on winner showcase. But knock that out of the park, man. Couple comments. Jason Bass, 2 years ago, the professor shared, "Parents, players, ask your coach what level do you believe I can play on, and target those schools."
Bass, you get it, man. I've been seeing you a lot on Twitter, man. You just get it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we move on to the rankings, Jonathan Leach, how about the coaches that feel like it's not their responsibility to get their athlete recruited?
You want the truth?
Yeah. You want the
Football Focus Weekly. Heck yeah, we want the truth.
Move.
You need a transfer.
Move. Real talk. Coach Johnson, if he was sitting in front of me, I'd say the same thing. If Coach Johnson's quarterback comes up to him, or Luke Bailey comes up to him and says, "Coach, can you help me with my highlights?" That's Coach Johnson's job.
Yes.
Help that joker, because Coach Johnson knows better where his quarterback made a better read, where his footwork was better, where he stepped up in the pocket and he avoided the rush better. He knows better whenever Luke Bailey, not just running, and Coach, I'm going to make this up, right? But not just running power. But when did he make a guy miss? When did he catch the ball, right? What's going to showcase his skill set the best? High school kids just see the big run.
Yep.
Or the deep pass, right? But that's not what coaches are looking for. They're looking for you to be the complete Package doing different things.
Luke Bailey, after your performance, if Coach Johnson don't want to help you, man, I know a great
Okay.
If they don't want to help,
he's busy. No, he's busy. No, when a kid's young, we do. I probably do. If they're, let's say, we've had sophomores at Providence that have contributed, right? The first 3 times I do it. Then after that, I let them create it, bring it to me to review. Please don't post. I had the same situation as Coach McClamrock. I had quarterback a couple years ago, and I'm like, "Dude, delete that. Get rid of the tweet. Let's start over. This is not it."
It's definitely, yeah. And parents, always believe your coach has your player's best interest. Now, if your coach is willing to help, like, guys, there's no rush to get your highlight tape out there, especially if you're a freshman or sophomore. The coaches, they're going to come. Just make sure it's great. make sure it's well put together when you put it out there, because that's going to go a long way.
Now, that being said, I did have my players tag what they believed were their best plays. So I wasn't going through the entire – now, with my seniors, I went through every single play for my seniors. But juniors next, and then sophomores, like Coach Johnson said, they tag their own plays, and then I'll order them. But seniors, I did go through every single play of every single game and put their best plays up front to what I believe was the best.
Very good. Very good. You know, we're running behind, but, hey, this is a good reason to run behind. This is some amazing stuff tonight, guys. Amazing stuff. Or as Coach Matt Rule would say, elite conversation tonight. We'll talk about Matt Rule later on.
No, we won't.
Dirty Dozen time. Here we go. All right. Here's what we got this week. We're going to go through this pretty quick, which is evil. Number one, I made a change. I thought about it. I slept on it. I did some evaluating. I really felt like we needed to make a change. So, number one, we got Chambers. 2, we got Huff. 3, Providence Day. 4, Charlotte Catholic. 5, Kings Mountain. 6, Weddington. 7, Independence. 8, Mallard Creek. 9, Charlotte Christian. 10, South Point, Belmont. 11, Olympic. 12, Monroe. And on the edge, RGK, Butler, Hickory Ridge, A.L. Brown, and Burns. Any thoughts?
I'll go.
Did Mallard Creek lose?
Shout out to Coach McFadden, Coach Rankin, Coach Ray over there at Independence. I'm biased. You know, I've spent time with them in the past. They're good dudes, and they have totally changed things around. Big shout out to them. Also, I would say from firsthand knowledge, don't count out Audrey Kell. That's a good football team that'll be ready and is battle tested come playoff time.
Big Shelly, Mallard Creek did not lose. They were 11 last week. I need to start putting that on there. Previous.
Okay. I thought they was like 5 or 6, something like that. But shout out, Kings Mountain putting on for a little old Cleveland County man, top 5. I think after Providence whoops up on Charlotte Catholic, they'll be in this top 12. So hopefully, they take care of business and we can get Coach Johnson and them guys on here, man. But I like it. You know what I'm saying? I like it. I see Monroe 2A putting on for the 2A guys. I always love the 2A teams. I see I like it. You always right, Pep. So, don't ever feel like you're wrong. You're always right.
Thank you, Chat Administrator Pep is always right. But if you disagree, I'm sure the email is about to be played. There you go. See, that's why he's the best chat administrator in the Southeast right there.
And also, like Coach I said, shout out to Independence, man. Coach McFadden and Coach Rankin doing a lot of good things with their program, man. They're gonna not be surprised if they make a big run right here, man. Because those guys, they've been working for it. Coach McFadden doing a good job, and Rankin doing a good job of getting them back to the old, trying to instill that old swagger of Independence. So man, I wouldn't sleep on that team at all.
Absolutely, Derrick Chambers, man, where you at? Where you at, Derrick? I know you on here. You just commented. Pep is – hey, we got an email, by the way, guys. We got an email? Yes. You know what it was? The playoff seeding notes from who was it? I think it was Chris Hagler that sent that.
Oh, about not out-of-state, non-conference games?
Yeah, we were talking about that last week. So we got one email, but it was just for information. So if we're wrong – pepIsWrong@gmail.com. I think we're doing too good of a job because we haven't got any emails.
Hey,
what the heck, man? Come on, man. This is your segment.
Pep and Kenneth, plug y'all in again, and producer. Just got to text some Dayton Lee, man. Got him an offer from Winston State. I met the coach at the HBCU showcase. Got the family, finally got it done after they watched the first 4-game highlight. So shout out to QB1. Happy birthday, QB1 again. And he gets another offer, man.
But let's take it a little bit farther. We had the head coach of Winston State there. We had the wide receivers coach there. We had other position coaches there. It wasn't just a coach. It was the big daddy who makes the final decision was there. And that's
hopefully they keep rolling in for QB1.
That's
good stuff.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
That is awesome, man.
Good for Dallas.
So let's see here. What we got? We got mail?
Yeah, man. Joe must have said something.
I'm gonna check the email. I'm gonna check the
Joe
email.
Let's see. Man.
Joe still got an AOL disc.
Derrick, why are you being quiet, man? This is your time, man. This is.
I'm telling you, Mallet Creek wants to be top 5, man. I'm telling you, hey, with Mallet Creek and Independence, if y'all have any problems with the schedule, with the rankings, with y'all schedule y'all got, man, I promise you, man, the way y'all schedule is so cutthroat, man, y'all can be top 2, top 1 after a while, man.
Top
Both of
one.
them are gonna be top one.
That
Top
schedule
one.
y'all got to go through, man. Hey, man, y'all have plenty of chances to make Pep notice how good y'all are. Independence and Mallet Creek.
Come on, man.
Yeah, see,
Come
yeah.
on. Man.
I'm just calling how they. I understand how they feel, man. They just.
Oh, Big Shelby, God Almighty! Boy, I gotta get y'all back
we're
on
not
the
in
air
it.
so you
But remember,
calm
I
down.
told you we're gonna get back in it by the end of the year, man.
I gotta get y'all. I gotta get you back on the edge, Big Shelby. We'll work on that.
Nah, hey, we're fine. Not even being talked about right now. We're perfect.
Oh man! All right, let's go to the most controversial rankings on Instagram. Oh no, wait a minute, that's not next. County rankings. I'm sorry. All right, so Mecklenburg, we got Chambers, Huff, Providence Day, Catholic, just like in the Dirty Dozen. Upstate South Carolina, no changes, man. Everybody keeps winning. They keep winning down there. South Point, Northwestern, Indian Land, and Catawba Ridge are all undefeated.
I'm gonna have to give you a what the heck, Pep. What the heck, man. So
What?
we ignored A.L. Brown for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then all of a sudden last week they pop up at number 4 magically. I don't know how you suddenly remembered they were there, but suddenly you remembered they were in Cabarrus County. They were at 4 last week. They had a bye last week. And somehow they're now magically at number 2. Now J.M. Robinson won. They stayed at 3. Coxmill lost. They moved out. I get that. But Pep, you got to explain some stuff to me here.
A.L. Brown had a great week of practice.
He said had a great week of practice. He probably only practiced 3 days.
Oh man!
I know for Gaston County, number 1 and number 2 play each other this Friday, man. So that's gonna be a good game.
There you go. There you go.
So it might be shaking up.
Yeah. All right. We know we got Chat Administrators Iredale rankings. So, Lake Norman, Mooresville, Pine Lakes, and no changes. Come on, Chat. You gotta spice it up, Chat Administrator. That's the same.
I thought he was gonna put Mooresville 1.
I thought he was too.
Pine Lake
He's not a true fan.
number 2.
We're gonna talk about Pine Lake and those guys here in a little bit. Let's see right here. Joe Hughes, South Point has a huge game this week. Head to South Florida. It's gonna be in the predictions. Did I put that on preview or predictions?
Predictions.
Oh no.
Predictions? Okay. Yeah, South Florence is number 4 in the 4A in South Carolina. They're undefeated. And we'll predict the game, but you just don't walk up into South Florence, man. You got to bring your A game. Hopefully South Point can do that. The other South Point in Belmont, Stuart Kramer has never beaten. So that'll be an interesting contrasting style of offenses. I'm telling you, man.
Hughes know it all, man.
All knowing.
Absolutely.
Like an oracle.
He is an oracle.
Yeah, we're not talking about the state. We know East Forsyth is really good, but we focus on our teams here in the Charlotte Metro.
Nah, Pep, we gotta grow the show, baby.
You want to grow it?
Mm-hmm. North Carolina Football Insiders, baby. We're going big and big. NCFI.
It can kind of work, man. It can kind of work. You just got to add that in.
I'll tell y'all about a growth plan in a little. Maybe after the show, I'll talk to y'all a little bit about that. Chat Administrative Pine Lake Prep keeps shutting teams out. They're on an incredible streak up there. They really are.
And getting no love from their local newspapers. I tried to look up some stuff about Pine Lake Prep, and I couldn't find anything in the newspaper at all about a Pine Lake Prep football team.
Unbelievable.
Crazy, man.
Unbelievable. Good Lord. Jesus. All right. Well, let's go to the most controversial rankings on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Next gen, nobody in 4A South Carolina stands a chance. Oh, wow. Good gracious. All right. Let's go to the most controversial ranking, the CMS best to last. There it is on the left side: Chambers, Huff, Independence, Mallard Creek, Olympic, Archer Kell, Butler, Providence, West Meck, and North Meck on the left side of the screen. On the right side, you see what we got there. Not too many changes this week. Any thoughts on the best to last?
The Mallard Creek fans still gonna be mad at you.
Yeah, I believe that.
The fans are mad at me, but the program loves us.
Still inspecting. One moment.
That's what matters.
I'm about to catch a game during my bye week. Or maybe one of the weeks we play on the Thursday. I might check a game out on a Friday.
I did move Barry up, Mr. Megan. I did. I was impressed with the way they played against North Meck. That told me a lot about those guys. I thought they made a lot of progress in that week, so I did move them up a good bit. That's probably the biggest change, along with Independence going up to number 3.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Independence begins to handle all this new publicity, right? I think they've made the Sweet 16 now. They're number 3 in the more important poll. How do their kids respond to the new hype? Because with hype comes expectations. And with expectations, whenever things don't go well, sometimes you're a little bit harder on yourself, right? So it'll be interesting to see how Coach McFadden keeps his kids grounded, keeps his coaches grounded, and how they begin to make their way through this new journey that Independence hasn't been on in a long time.
I think
Well
Independence is showing not to give up on coaches in their first year, because he had kind of a rough start, last year as far as wins and losses. But stick with the guys, man. There's a plan. Sometimes there's a multi-year plan to get where they want to be. So I think he's just showing it not to prematurely give up on people when they first get somewhere.
Absolutely. Chat administrator, I don't think you'll be getting many emails this week. This is a pretty solid rank. Hey, Pep is always right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Karen Bilk, dedicated watcher. Independence not on the radar anymore. 69 for you. That'll knock you off the being on the radar. Played with passion and discipline, not as many penalties. Hey, Coach DJ took your notes. Yeah, there you go, Karen Belk. I hear you. Independence all the way. There you go. All right. All right. Now, let's get the show started. Week 5 game previews. First on the docket, Hickory Ridge at A.L. Brown. Professor, you are going to be there. That's in your wheelhouse of Cabarrus County. You got the floor. What you got?
Yeah, well, obviously Hickory Ridge lost a heartbreaker to Charlotte Catholic in overtime. Pep, you and producer were there for that one. They lost a little bit worse fashion last week to a really, really, really good Chambers team. My big question is, how does Hickory Ridge now respond, right? Like, they had those super high expectations that we were just talking about, and they've kind of been knocked back down a little bit. Not to mention, it was a super physical game. How healthy is Hickory Ridge headed into Friday night? How good was Monday's practice, Tuesday's practice? How good is their walkthrough going to be tomorrow? Especially considering that an undefeated A.L. Brown had a bye week. The entire A.L. Brown team was there Friday night to watch the Chambers game. And A.L. Brown is healthy. They're feeling really, really, really good. And it's at Memorial Stadium. And if you've ever been to Memorial Stadium, that's a tough place to play, even though I did pretty good against them in my career. But that's a tough place to play. And A.L. Brown's people are excited. They're 3-0. It's been a while since A.L. Brown's been 3-0. And their people are going to show up Friday night to that stadium.
Yeah, A.L. Brown has a great environment, man. We used to always go play them at Shelby, man. Be prepared to hear that cannon go off if they score a touchdown.
They still do that?
They still do it.
Yep.
Oh,
You got
Loud-
the bench up there with the green
yeah.
K. You got to be careful where you walk, though. There's a lot of tobacco juice all over the floor, so you don't want to get your new white Nikes filled with tobacco juice. Careful.
Is it safe to go to Kannapolis, Kenneth?
Well, I mean, we all know you got to take a shower when you get home, because if not, you get scabies.
You read my setup there. God almighty. It's going to be a great game. Zayflix is also going to be there. So that'll be great from the media video perspective. Really exciting. All right. West Meck, undefeated West Meck, rolling in to Chambers. You look at this matchup here. West Meck 4-0, but have they defeated somebody with some big weight and merit? I think you look at it, probably the best win is Ashbrook, maybe.
Yep.
I'm gonna pull them up on Max Preps, but I'm gonna ask you guys. You take a look at Chambers on offense. How do you slow them down? I'll start with Big Shelby. You're our defensive expert. You take a look at Chambers offensively. How do you slow them down?
You have to make sure you have athletes to match their athletes. Hope you have enough. I hope your guys can be able to do it for 4 quarters. You got to be able to make one-on-one tackles, tackling space. You got to make sure you got to know who's who and where they at on the field. I'm sure West Met has a game plan to that fits their players, and just going to be about how long you can get stops and how many stops you'll be able to get against a team like Chambers. And you have to be able to capitalize off any type of momentum you get, whether it's a block punt or a turnover on downs, anything you can do to try to get some momentum.
What makes Chambers so tough to defend is Coach Littlejohn is so patient, and he can change from week to week his offensive game plan. When they played Shelby last year, he was air raiding it all over the place. And then he realized, I can pull the quarterback down and let him run it. Last week, he ran a lot of stuff in between the tackles, and he ran a lot of sideline to sideline stuff. We didn't see the deep passes. He threw a couple, but not as many as I was expecting to see. And not only that, but if you get pressure on the quarterback, Bubba can pull the ball down and take off. I mean, it's almost like if you get pressure around the edge, it's more dangerous because you open up his running lane. To me, the pressure you have to get on him is up the middle where you cram him in. You don't give him that space to run because his first 3 steps, I've said this repeatedly, are as explosive as anybody I've seen. They were most explosive at the HBCU camp in May. I mean, it's a tall task for West Meck.
So let's talk about West Meck a little bit because we hadn't really talked about him much. And I'll tell you right now, of course, we talked about Beatty Waddell V, being a Pet Man player a couple times, but they got some other good players. Cam Walkup as the quarterback is a dual threat kid. He's a sophomore. He's got a cannon for an arm. And while he's not on the level of Bubba Camp, while most dual threats are not, he has some ability to get outside of the pocket and do some special things. They have number 3, Dequinda Williams. He plays wide receiver and DB. He's a great athlete. He can high point the ball well on the outside. I got a great highlight of him when they scrimmaged Stuart Kramer of getting a jump ball and one-on-one coverage. Omari Sanders Richardson is a really fast and talented DB. I think he's got an offer from Averett, along with defensive lineman Kyrie Lytle, who gets off the ball really well. And he's a little smaller, but he uses that size well as leverage, when he's penetrating. And you talk about getting inside pressure on Camp. He's going to have to be a big part of that for sure. The one other thing about West Meck is just, you get into a game against Chambers who they can kind of come at you in waves. We talked about some of the guys that stepped up last week when other guys didn't play. West Meck does not have that same amount of depth. So when you're kind of going into it, when you have a roster that's not as deep as a talented team, what are some of the things you can do to kind of try to alleviate that, roster depth difference?
Probably just got to hold the ball as long as you can. Try to get first down. Don't necessarily look for big plays to score touchdowns. Try to just win the time management game.
Okay, well said. Well
Don't
said.
get hurt.
Yeah, don't get hurt. Yeah, yeah. Get out of there safe. Get out of there safe, and hold the ball as long as you can.
Reggie Lee, quarterback has to be smart. He tries to run people over all the time. Chambers will put him down if he challenges enough of them.
Yeah.
Very good point. Very good point. Summer Blevins, big West Meck fan. This is our first true test. I'm excited to see what our guys are going to be able to do. Number 3 is mine, by the way. This just makes us better and better. We welcome all the smoke. West Meck wants to smoke.
Okay, they said they want some smoke.
Wow, okay. All right. Well, I think there'll be some smoke over on IBM Drive.
I think
on
so.
Friday night.
Been providing quite a bit of smoke the last few years, so they're gonna get it.
I saw that, Big Shelby. I saw that. Back on A.L. Brown, Reggie Lee. I'm really proud of Kim Sinclair. I repeat his personal feeling about Brown. I think I brought it out of him. All right. Next game. Big Shelby, I'll let you take this one. This is in your wheelhouse. Ashbrook at Crest.
I think this is gonna be a good game. I think Ashbrook is kind of still looking to find themselves. I think they're looking at this game as a great opportunity to kind of set the tone for them guys moving forward in the conference play. I got a little inside tip that Crest asked Ashbrook to wear their dark jersey so Crest can wear all white at home. So a lot of the Ashbrook staff and former players are taking that as disrespect. So I think their guys are going to be juiced up and ready to go for this game. Now, I know Crest is not doing nothing to be disrespectful, but certain Ashbrook coaches and players are taking it to the heart, taking it to the chin. So I think those guys are going to try to be juiced up and just try to, I think they lost the game against West Met last week. They had them. They just didn't score enough points. And the defense has been showing up every week. I think they're still looking for both sides of the ball to kind of keep coming to play. So I think Ashbrook is just looking to come out and make a statement this week against Crest. And I think Crest is just still trying to maintain dominance in that conference. And I think this would be a good test for the both of them.
For the record, I would rather wash my dark jerseys any day of the week over my whites. Any day. Rain or no rain.
Coach Johnson, let me ask you, the jersey thing, does that really, make a difference if you want to wear a special set of jerseys at home?
Well, I mean, we're all jump man over here, so I mean,
woo. Say it again, Coach.
No, white jerseys are a pain. I know a lot of us help Coach Ward out with that, and it is a serious issue in the soaking and the but again, you kids want to look good, feel good, play good. Just like Deion said, I love Deion. I'm a 49ers fan, so he hit that nail on the head with that.
Yeah. Now I think it's one of the things too, where it's like, say if Shelby and Providence plays, and Shelby, we always wear our black jersey at home. Never been a game where we never wear black at home. We call them and say, "Hey, guys, we're gonna wear all white this week." That is, as a coach, that may be like, "Well, they've never worn all white at home. Like, what's the deal with it?" So some coaches may take it like, okay, they think they about to walk over us and, it's going to be disrespectful, but some coaches look at it like, well, I'd rather wash my dark jersey over my white, just like they said. So, I'm just thinking, anyway, anything that can get the kids up and ready to play, that's how I look at it.
It was funny. I remember we were at Harding, and it was early in the season. We were going to go play South Meck. And I forget who the head coach was at the time at South Meck. Well, I really don't. I just don't want to say his name. But he told us, you know what? We're wearing our black jerseys next week against y'all. And we were just kind of like, okay, that means something? Is the black jerseys more intimidating than the red jerseys that they usually wear? I mean, it was funny. We ended up beating them. So I guess the black didn't help them. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. Joe Hughes. Ashbrook has yet to give up more than 14 points. Chris has allowed 106 points and scored 106 points. Okay.
See, Joe had them stats that don't nobody think about, man.
Wow.
That's what stats we sit and talk about on Sundays.
That's why he's the Oracle.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't Derrick Chambers. No, it wasn't. I love Rocky White, man. He's one of my favorite guys, man. It was not Rocky.
Man, don't let nobody trick you out of your position.
Oh man, let's see here. Dang, really? Gaffney used to spray a ton of paint and water the field just to. Good Lord. Special things down at Gaffney. All right, Coach Johnson. Providence and Charlotte Catholic, you got a little bit of insight on this, I'm sure. Whatever you want to share. You don't have to give away your game plan, of course, but
Sure. Yeah, a lot of time on watching Catholic this week. The discipline, the organization, the athletes, the talent, the history. It just radiates off the huddle when you watch them. Credit to Coach Brodowitz and Coach Christmas and all those guys over there. Long-standing standard bearer in Charlotte. They deserve the accolades that they get and have received. Tall task to go over to a place like that. Now, as a coach, I will say I certainly appreciate a great fan base like Catholic. That's one of the best Charlotte environments. You have to embrace it and go over there and the student section take it all in. I mean, kudos to me. What a game day setup they have as well.
Absolutely, man. I think, is it a 7 or 7:30 start, Coach?
7.
7? All right, should be over by 8.
Yeah. I'll Coach Brodowitz right now. We won't throw it if he won't. We'll just let it go.
No, this is a big game though. And you look at the Southwestern Conference. I think you guys. I think I projected you guys second and third in the conference behind Butler, and then now we got Independence. Sitting here undefeated and having a great season. So I think overall the Southwestern just looks amazing. We talk about the best conferences around, and you got to include the Southwestern in that conference in the state of North Carolina now. I mean, you guys are having some great seasons over there.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be battle tested when playoff time comes. For sure.
Yes, sir. Well, Chat Administrator wrote a full essay on Mooresville at Cox Mill, so I'll just put that on the screen. Mooresville rushing attack versus Cox Mill aerial attack. Can our front seven get to Edwards enough to slow down the passing attack? Can Cox Mill win the battle up front to slow down Howell and Westmoreland? Shootout potential here. I'll pass that on to Coach Bird at Cox Mill. I'm sure he'll be.
Kyle say shootout. He thinks it's gonna be a shootout every week with more. He said that every week, man. Shootout. He said that every week, man.
Well, Chat Administrator, you'll be excited to know that me and producer will be at the Mooresville at Cox Mill game. So,
yeah, I think I'm gonna leave our game at halftime and come on down there.
Wow. That would be pretty hilarious to see. I'd actually kind of want to see.
It would be.
I would never do that, man. Cheer my guys on all 4 quarters, man, coach.
Yeah, you might want to coach too, man. No, I'm just kidding.
He sets it to auto sometimes. They don't need it. They just go and then win by 50 sometimes.
Yeah, in the third round of playoffs, and expect us
expect us to stay to the end when they're up by 53.
Exactly. Y'all promised my guys interviews, man, and it didn't happen.
No. We said we would come. We didn't promise nothing, and we came.
The bare minimum, man.
Anyways, let's see, man. Jermaine Brandon says Mooresville and Cox Mill quarterback play has to improve. Okay. We'll see if it improves on Friday night. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, last game we're going to preview. Mountain Island, undefeated on the season at 2-0, is going up to Pine Lake, who is undefeated on the season as well, at 3-0. We know the Pine Lake defense has been playing well. Mountain Island coming off wins over Union Academy and Corvian Community, or Charter, I should say. We went to this game, what was it, 2 years ago?
I think it was the spring of 21, that spring season.
The COVID year? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we went up there, and I'll tell you, Pine Lake had a lot of fans, man. It was impressive, and they knocked off Mountain Island, and it was a big win. And I had the best food in my life with that maple bacon donut. Good Lord. Oh. Producer, I almost chose that one because I want another one. I ain't had one since.
That's probably a good thing, man. But but I do remember that. I do remember the maple bacon donut, man. I remember that.
Absolutely. You look at this, we talked about the Pine Lake defense doing well. The offense has put up, I think, 21 in each of the last 2 games. So if you're Mountain Island, you got to feel like, you got to get at least 21 on offense. Now, how do you solve the riddle of the Pine Lake defense? One of the things that I noticed when we, take a look at Pine Lake is they do a really good job of scheming you up, against formation. The defensive coordinator, I wish I knew his name, but
Josh Mills.
For Pine Lake. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He's like a mad scientist on the sideline. I mean, he's like just crazy, but obviously it's doing the job. You look at Mountain Island. You think about Ashton Mill on the defensive line. I think for them, their defense really has to step up here. The lower scoring this game is, the more I think it helps Mountain Island, because if it gets to a higher scoring game, we know the Pine Lake defense has been really strong all season long. Coach Trotter. Yay! Sean McCune. Thank you, Coach Trotter. Thanks for watching. I should have known you were watching. I told you we were going to talk about it. But, yeah, he's doing a really good job, man. Let's see. Joe Hughes. I think we'll find out a ton about both of these teams. The competition to this point hasn't been all that impressive. A lot of questions will be answered.
Yep.
Also, defense and running game for both will be keys. All right. Joe Hughes with the knowledge, man. He's on fire tonight. Good gracious.
I think that'd be a very interesting game too, man. I think you couldn't find a better start to a conference play game for those two. Pine Lake has only allowed, they pitched 2 shutouts and only allowed 2 points. And with Mount Island, their defensive coordinator Josh Mills, I know he's gonna have those guys ready and fired up to go. I know this is becoming a rivalry game for those guys. I know last year Mount Island was kind of snubbed out of the playoffs after having a good year. So I think every game they play this year, they're just trying to send a statement that say like last year, they could have been us in that making that state championship run. So I think that'll be a great game, man. I think it's like you said, it's gonna be a battle of defenses and run game, man. I think, but I'd love to see who will win that game.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a break before we get to addressing our predictions, which, some of us did a bad job with predictions.
Be easy on Judge Webb.
Well, I shouldn't have picked the Panthers. I know that.
We'll talk about that in just a second. But I want to bring on a special guest. We have never had a college player on Football Focus Weekly, but that will change tonight as we will bring on Mr. Blue Monroe.
Hey!
What's up? How y'all doing?
Good. How you doing, Blue?
I'm good.
Kenneth, if you want to ask Blue a couple questions, I'll be right back.
Sure. Blue, so tell me about your love life, man.
I got a girl, so.
Now, Blue, let's be honest. Now, you got the Grizzly Adams going on right now.
Yeah.
What decade was the last time that you shaved?
Like a month and a half ago.
Down here?
A month and a half, 2 months ago, yeah.
Blue, so you are the 2-time defended Practice Player of the Week at Western Carolina. Man,
Yes, sir.
what does that mean to you, right? I mean, we talked a couple of weeks ago. You were working with not the first and the second team, right? But you had the highest grade in your position with the guys that you worked out for. And now you're starting to be noticed. We've talked about you being a leader as a freshman at Western, and coaches are starting to notice. What does that mean for you, and what does that do for just your mental state?
I mean, this is how I look at it, playing on scout team. Like, not everybody wants to play on scout team. Everybody wants to travel and everything like that. So I just take it as I don't travel on Saturdays when we go to away games. So that's my time to play football. Like, that's my game to me. So, just going as hard as I can, giving the O-line great looks, the quarterback great looks and coverage. Because, I mean, if you watch our offense is a very high powered offense. So, is the great look I can give, just the better they're going to be. And so, I mean, it's just go hard. And I mean, it's helped my mental state because now I'm playing football, I'm playing every day. It's almost like a scrimmage to me. We're not tackling them down, but everything in the box is live, until the running back. So I enjoy it.
Absolutely. Blue, you're one of my favorite players of all time, man. I got my boys. They heard Blue, and good night. The whole McClamorite clan came running in here. Blue, what's been the biggest adjustment to you as a college freshman student athlete?
For the student part, I would say the biggest adjustment is, you just got to really take your classes serious. You don't got time to turn in late work. When you get something, you got to do it. These professors, not all of them are going to accept the late work. I know a buddy that turned in an essay late. He got a 0 on it. So that's a big part of it is just make sure you're really taking your time to focus on school first, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to get an education first, then play football. And that's the most important part. For the football-wise, I played quarterback all of high school. So, this is my first year really playing linebacker. So really just like learning my keys, being able to see the pull calls, being able to see down blocks, see if they're in pass pro, and just being able to read and react real fast. And the physicality level is obviously different. I felt like it would be a little more different. But as I came in, I felt that I was physical enough to, hey, I can hang with these guys. I can do my thing.
How did playing high school quarterback for so long, a little bit of tight end for me, right, as a sophomore, and some other spots on the offensive side, how did that prepare you to play? How does that make you a better linebacker at the college level?
Really just understanding the offense, what the offense is trying to do, just in different scenarios. Hey, 1st and 10, what are we going to get? Or 3rd and short, what are we going to get? 3rd and long, what are we going to get? Maybe, hey, we're looking for screens, third downs. But really, I would say the biggest thing it's taught me is how to be the leader of the defense. I play Mike, so we're the leader of the box. We're calling our strength calls, telling the D-line what to do. And so being a quarterback definitely helped me transition to the leader I am at linebacker now. That's one thing I'm trying to do on scout team. Hey, we're running their defense, but, I'm trying to be the leader of that defense.
Webb, Coach Johnson, and producer, you guys will love this, right? So Blue transfers in his sophomore year to us at Central Cabarrus. And the very first day, this is the type of leader he is, right? The very first day, we had a line of, I think it was 17 guys. I don't remember now off the top of my head. That was our front guys. They were the guys that we looked to on our leadership council, those types of things. And Blue jumps in the front of the line. I said, hold on now, big dog. You go to the back, dog. You just got here. The next day, guess where Blue was? In the front of the line. And he never left the front for the rest of the season. It just shows when we talk about how do you get recruited and how do you get scholarships and how do you play at the next level. Blue not only worked extremely hard in the classroom, he not only worked extremely hard in the weight room, but talking just now as a college freshman, right? A kid who's been at college for just a few months now, since July, that he is continuing to work every single day. And Blue realized that maybe I'm not the defensive captain yet, but I can be the freshman defensive captain. I can be the captain of the underclassmen in my linebacker room. I can do all those things that push us to make us better so that Western Carolina can compete for a SoCon championship. Blue, how good can you guys be this year, man? Y'all are looking pretty sticking good.
We can be. I'm not going to put a ceiling on what we can do because with the guys we have and with the coaching staff we have, there's some great things we're going to do. If we just keep getting better every week, focusing on us, focusing on the little details. That's the biggest thing. The sky is the limit. There's not a ceiling on us. The sky is the limit. And, our freshman class too is, I think maybe something came out that maybe we had 40 true freshmen.
Wow.
And number one freshman class, recruiting class in the SoCon. So, the guys that I came in with are some ball players. And so, for the next few years, this program is going to be something special.
Blue, earlier in the show, Coach Johnson, who's the OC at Providence, talked about how the transfer portal has hurt kids, right? That when coaches come and they don't have the numbers they used to have. And, of course, you've been a class of 22 kid, got caught in that, right?
Yep.
What advice can you give to a high school senior who has worked their butt off, who's done everything the right way, who has gone to extra workouts, who maybe is caught in between that as well?
I would say everybody talks about how like Twitter is, so amazing for recruiting, but I think it's gotten so big now we get lost in the mix. But the biggest thing is Coach McClamrock, this too, is I was posting the same highlights, 2-3 times a week. I
was retweeting them all.
Yeah, you want to stay on coaches' feeds. If they miss you, hey, they see your highlight again. And maybe they will click on you, and that's all it takes. The biggest thing is putting yourself out there. For me, I was lucky. I had offers at quarterback, not the biggest ones. But if you can, play both ways. I encourage everybody to. It's high school. Have fun. If you're an athlete, you play both ways. Now you have one more opportunity to get a shot. And, just everybody says stay patient, but that's the key, man. Just keep putting yourself out there. DMing coaches, like my Twitter DMs are just, 300, 500 coaches from when I was in high school, just put yourself out there. And that's the biggest thing is, I feel like a lot of kids start to rely on their coaches a little too much. Hey, but don't rely on your coaches. Use them as another tool to get to the next level. But your first tool is yourself.
True or false, Blue? Your mom is the toughest person in your family.
True.
True or false, Blue? Your mom is the strongest person in your family.
False. False.
Blue.
False.
You've surpassed her.
A long time ago.
True or false? I'm much better looking than D-Rob.
I don't know if I can answer that. True.
I want to know.
That's so false. That is so false.
Knox says that D-Rob is better looking than I am, I guess. That was false. Well, Coach Johnson, what you guys got?
Blue, I got a couple for you. First, you're playing quarterback. What's the best pass play that Coach McClamrock taught you? What was your pass play that Coach McClamrock taught you, the go-to pass play?
Mesh. That was my favorite. Mesh. Yeah. Because Coach McClamrock knows this. I like to run.
I thought I was going to say quarterback power.
Well, he said pass play. So, get the linebackers out of the middle. I'm going up the middle.
The coverage you want to see when you were at JM. What's the coverage you want to see? I want to hear that
one. 2.
2.
Yeah, hit a whole shot.
Yeah.
I like throwing the whole shot. So.
Open all that. Nice.
Well, I got one for you. With any of the high school kids is watching now, but you were being in your senior year at JM, you was the guy, big man on campus. How can you let the kids know, even though you're not necessarily at one of the biggest schools in North Carolina, you at a Division I school, let them know how big of the transition is from being like, hey, senior year, I'm Blue Monroe, everybody knows who I am, versus going to a school and they're like, hey, kid, put this jersey on, versus like as far as like just like as the players, how the players perceive you or just how it is on campus?
It's a humbling experience, if I'm being honest with you. But luckily I had an older brother that played at Davidson College, older cousin that went to Wake Forest in the UNCC. So I had an idea of what it was going to be like. But even if you have an idea, and even if you expect it, because I expected it, it's a humbling experience. I went from the guy. Everybody knew who I was. In Cabarrus County, people knew who I was. It's a humbling experience because you're not the guy anymore. Every single guy on the team was their guy on their high school team. And no matter how good you are, you go straight to the bottom of the depth chart, and that's just how college works. And it's all about a mindset at that point. Hey, how are you going to handle the adversity, right? How are you going to handle this adversity? Are you going to let it determine your outcome of what you do in college, or are you going to fight through it and eventually move your way up the depth chart? And, that's the biggest thing. It's just being able to fight adversity, no matter what it is.
Guys, I'm sorry I had a bit of a situation to attend to, but Blue, I don't know if you said this or not. You probably did because I was gone for a minute. What advice could you tell high school kids that are so excited about getting offers and attention to play on the next level, and then the reality of getting to college and seeing what college life is all about?
Yeah. Before I adjust that part, I'm going to adjust the guys that aren't getting offers and they're seeing the guys getting offers. It's tough. We all, I was I was the same guy. I didn't have a lot of offers. I only had one true Division I offer, but it wasn't a scholarship team, and then I had a preferred walk on to Western. I mean, it's tough. But what I'm gonna say is, don't get caught up in the Twitter feed. Like I did, and it's hard. It hurt. It's mentally draining when you're seeing all these kids. Hey, I think I'm better than him, and he has this. Don't worry about it. Just keep working. But I mean, for the guys that are getting offers, I mean, enjoy it. Enjoy the process because it is a fun process. At the end of the day, enjoy the process. But I mean, just know if getting those offers, it's awesome. But once you get here, it's time to work. Nobody cares about what you did in high school anymore. The players don't care. Coaches recruited you for a reason because they thought you can play. But now it's time to prove it at the next level. So it's everybody says when you get to the next level, that's when the work starts. That is when the work starts. So I guess that's my advice. Just you got to realize it's fun and enjoy the process. But when you get to college, don't carry on to what you did in high school.
Blue, you told me something a month or so ago that stuck with me when you said once I got to college, the coaches didn't care if I was on scholarship or not.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're there for one reason, to
Yeah.
get better, to win football games.
Yep. And that's like that at a lot of places, I believe. If you can play, they're going to play you, and that's the truth of it. If you go out to practice, you have a great attitude, a great mindset about practice, and you're competing every day, and you're getting better, and they see that you can play. They don't care if you're on scholarship, preferred walk-on, or walk-on. You're going to get on the field because they want to win football games. So whatever opportunity you have to play for the people watching, whatever opportunity you have to play the next level, whether it's scholarship, preferred walk-on, or just if you want to walk on, take that opportunity because coaches don't care if you're on, like I said, if you're a walk-on. If you can play, you're going to play. If you work hard, they're going to see that, and you're going to start moving up.
Blue, I really appreciate you coming on here, the first ever college football player to be on football.
And I've tried to get him to get college players on here, Blue. He didn't even tell me. You didn't tell me.
No, I didn't know if he did, so I want to keep this secret.
Blue, man, I appreciate the time and good luck, man, and in your career at Western. It's
Thank
awesome.
you. Yes,
Love you,
sir.
Blue.
Good start, man. Keep
Good
up
luck.
that effort, man. Keep up that effort.
I
Keep
appreciate
going.
y'all.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, man.
My guy.
All right, Blue Monroe joining the show. Once again, I apologize. I do a lot of stuff in Valentine, so I was handling some stuff in Valentine.
When Nick Saban calls you, you got to answer the phone. We get it.
He might be coming to the winter show. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Hey, when Nick Saban come, we got a charge to get in there.
Wow.
All right, last week's predictions. Oh, boy. So we were all wrong about Audrey Kell at Weddington. Country Day at Asheville School engine and producer were right. We were all wrong about Parkwood at Marvin Ridge. We were all right about Mallard Creek and Gaffney. Engine and Pep, Northwest Comparison Mount Pleasant. And I was the only one that picked the Cleveland Browns.
How can you even take
You
that?
picked against your own team, man.
Right. It
That's
shouldn't even
crazy.
count.
I was right.
No.
I don't understand how I went 1-5 though. It got to be some type of misprint.
Misprint.
Nah.
Is it? I thought you had receipts, Big Shelby.
We do.
Yeah, I got receipts. Yeah. I ain't gonna call nobody out, but just know that. Hey, I won't be picking a lot of guys again.
So right now the engine is still the leader in the clubhouse, 15-9. Me and producer tied at 13-11, and Big Shelby way under 500 at 9-14.
Don't worry, we're gonna get it right this week.
Coach, you want to participate this week?
Oh, definitely, sure.
All right. All right, here we go. Week 5 predictions. We're coming down the line. Sun Valley at Monroe. Coach Johnson.
Monroe. Yeah, I'm gonna go Monroe.
All right. Engine.
Monroe stays undefeated.
All right. Big Shelby.
I'll go with Monroe.
All right. Producer.
Monroe.
Whew. Clean sweep for Monroe, but I think Sun Valley's going to make that interesting.
No,
All
but
right.
go ahead and put your money on them.
No.
See?
Cardinal Gibbons at Porter Ridge. Coach Johnson.
Great coach at Porter Ridge, Coach Hurts. He does a great job there. But I haven't seen a lot of Cardinal Gibbons, but enough. Yeah, I'm going to go Cardinal Gibbons.
All right, Engine.
Cardinal Gibbons, they beat Wake Forest last week. They win again this week.
All right, Big Shelby.
I'm going Cardinal Gibbons.
All right, Producer.
Defending champs, Cardinal Gibbons.
Man, I'm going Porter Ridge. Porter Ridge, man, for the win. Let's go. They bounced back after that tough loss they had to Hickory Ridge. I'm going to be right. Watch. Just like Cleveland Browns. Hickory Grove at Northside Christian. Coach Johnson.
It's a little out of my wheelhouse, so I'm going to go Hickory Grove.
All right.
Sure to be a lot of points scored in this game. Hickory Grove goes 5-0.
All right. Big Shelby.
I'm going to go with Hickory Grove, man, just because I ride by that
Follow
school.
me, man. You can't move up the ladder. Follow me.
Yeah, I ride by that school all the time, and I see, I just like it over there, so I'm going to just pick those guys.
Super Producer.
Hickory Grove.
All right. Clean sweep for Hickory Grove. Let's go, Coach Balkum. North Gaston at Forest View. Coach Johnson.
Forest View.
All right. Engine.
Forest View.
Big Shelby.
I'm going to go Forest View.
Super Producer.
I feel like I picked against them once and it came back to bite me, so I got to go Forest View also.
Man, you both.
Give me North Gaston for the win. Let's go, Wildcats. All right. We alluded to it earlier. South Point at South Florence. Coach Johnson.
Coach Collins will have the troops ready to make the long trip, and I'm going to go South Point.
Engine.
The Stallions. They're my team. South Carolina.
Big Shelby.
I'm going with my guys down in South Point, man. My guy, Coach Q. They're going to get them guys right, man. And Coach Dre, they're going to have South Point ready to go, man. And Van Horn, they're going to be ready, man.
All right. Super Producer.
I don't like picking against defending champs normally, so I'm going to go South Point.
All right. I will take South Point in a close one over South Florence.
You don't get no more points by saying if it's going to be close or a blowout.
I just said it's going to be close. Bonus. East Rowan at Concord. Coach Johnson.
My wife is a 1999 East Rowan grad, but I'm going to go Concord. Yeah.
Not where I saw that one going, but
Engine.
The Mustangs pick up their first win Friday night. Go East Rowan.
All right, Big Shelby.
I'm gonna go with Concord, man. I think my guy is gonna turn it around, man. My guy Darren Shepard. I think he's gonna help those guys get their first win this Friday.
All right, Super Producer.
Concord.
I am going to take Concord in a close one. I'll go with Concord. All right, so those are our Week 5 predictions. Big Shelby, you over there cheating.
What about you, though?
You over there looking stuff up.
I do see another screen lit up over there.
Hey, last week, the only reason why I went 1-5 is clearly I was unprepared. And you caught me.
You had extra time. Your answers.
I texted you to pick.
Friday afternoon.
I was on the phone.
Your answers.
God, no.
I was on the phone.
He was in pregame. He was on the field.
So I was on the phone Wednesday night and some recruiting stuff, and I just picked.
Oh, man. All right. Let's go. We're going to do best of the comments after slime time. But now we're going to go to slime time with your favorite host, him.
You know what time it is? It's the time that my little boys stay up way past their bedtime to hear. When we get to go at whoever it is we feel like we need to go at because they deserve it. It's slime time. And you know what, Pep? We're going to come straight to you tonight. Who are you sliming tonight?
Read the chat.
Okay. 10-4. Let me read the chat. Okay, deal. Coach Webb, who are you sliming on tonight?
All right, man. I'm gonna get serious for a moment, but I am sliming, man. Last night I got a phone call about one of my former players getting killed, man. Only at the age of 17. So I'm sliming gun violence, man. This gun violence just has to stop taking kids' lives, man. I know a lot of kids, you try to save them all. Certain kids make certain decisions. Certain kids live in certain areas and in situations they can't get out of. And, you know, just unfortunate and it's sad to see young kids with so much potential and so much talent get their life taken from them by another little kid. And it's just sad to see, man. So I'm sliming gun violence, man. Any player that's watching this, any coaches watching this, man, love on your kids every day because you never really know when it's going to be your last time around them. Players, if you're going through anything personal and you don't want to talk to your parents about it, man, talk to your coaches about it, talk to a teacher about it. You know, coaches just keep showing the kids that you love them, even on our worst days, show the kids that we love them. And, you know, something had to stop at some point in time, man. But I just want to send my prayers out to Miss Betty Jones and Mr. Daryl Jones and their family, man, while they're mourning right now and grieving over the loss of their son and their grandson.
You know, there couldn't be anything worse for a young person. I'm waiting for the day when it stops being cool to pull that trigger, man. Sorry, Webb. Producer Brandon, who are you sliming on tonight?
Well, first off, before I even get to my slime, you know, I want to piggyback on what Webb said. You know, I certainly want to echo that sentiment. You know, the violence certainly needs to be curbed, and you know, I hope that message gets across that, you know, we definitely need to change as a society. But I'm gonna get to my slime, which is probably gonna be obvious if you watch the show enough. I'm gonna slime these stinking Carolina Panthers, my team that I inherited. They're thorn in my side, and they just, I don't know, man. So we had a bright spots down the road, man, but I think I'm a pour most of the slime on McAdoo, you know, and Rule, because I just feel like towards the end, you know, they literally played for the field goal at the end instead of trying to go up and get that touchdown. That was my main gripe with the game. Through all the headaches, you played for that field goal and it came back to bite you. So I'm sliming the Panthers, but I'm pouring most of it on McAdoo and Rule.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I mean, you're asking, I mean, beyond that, producer, you're asking a rookie left tackle to go up against a player like Garrett when you're widening him out by bringing a tight end into the box, and then you send the tight end out on a pass route, and he never even attempts to chip him. It makes that job so much harder. I thought there were so many mistakes that McAdoo made early on. Maybe it's because he hadn't called some offense in a while. I don't know, but I hope we get it together this week. Coach Johnson, you're going to be up next, man, so I hope you got one. But I'm sliming. A lot of you guys know that I'm a teacher, of course, and my second job is I do driver's education. And it's decent pay. It helps keep my wife at home. It pays the bills in the summertime. But I had a brand new experience. I work for a private school, which means I go to kids' houses and I pick them up. On July the 28th, I made confirmation with this particular parent that starting on Monday, 2 days ago, whatever date that was, September the 12th, I believe, I would pick her daughter up at 3:45 at their house. Well, Monday it poured down rain. I was a little bit wet. I was just a hair late. Got there about 3:50, but I told her that could be a possibility. And I went to knock on the door. And I knocked on the door again. And I rang the little ring doorbell. And finally, a lady, oh, who the heck are you, answers the door. Can I help you? I said, yeah, I'm Kenneth with the driving school. I'm ready to drive your daughter. She said, she's with a tutor right now. Now, very affluent neighborhood in Concord at the most affluent private school in Cabarrus County. If you know anything about Cabarrus County, you can figure that out. Flags all over the yard and on the cars. And she goes, give me 1 minute. 15 minutes I waited on this lady's front porch. 15 minutes, I saw a landscaper blow off all the leaves in the front yard on the other side of the cul-de-sac. 15 minutes later, another lady comes out from around the house. She says, yeah, I'm sorry, but she's not going to be able to drive today. She's not going to be able to drive today. What are you talking about? We confirmed 7 weeks ago. I'm booked 7 weeks out. This is a 3-day commitment you just made. This is how I make my extra money on the side. Yeah, she has a meeting about a field trip today. Well, wait, is it a meeting about a field trip or is it her tutor is here? Because you just said that her tutor, or another lady said her tutor was here. Yeah, we just found out it's a mandatory meeting tonight about a school field trip. Wait, there's a mandatory meeting tonight about a school field trip. Yeah, well, you know that I have had you on the schedule for 7 weeks. And I showed up. You never let me know about this mandatory meeting. Yeah, we just found out it was mandatory about 5 minutes ago. Really? So after I showed up, you found out that it was mandatory. Yeah, so I'm so sorry. Well, just so we can be clear, are you saying that I can't drive her today only? Or are you talking about the next 2 days as well? Because that's 3 days of me getting paid. Yeah, she's not going to be able to drive the next 2 days either. Parents, it is your job to teach your children how to become responsible, accountable for their own actions, and basically not complete pieces. I better stop just in case. It's your job, parents. What an awful example you showed. What an awful example of a parent. Don't be that parent. That parent is bad. Coach Johnson, who are you slamming on tonight?
First, Coach Webb, thoughts and prayers to you and the Shelby community. I had that happen with a player in the past, and it's a terrible thing and something you never forget. Like I said, it's just a terrible thing. Thoughts and prayers. My slime tonight. This is probably one you guys have done before, but I attended a middle school football game this week. Parents on both sides just harassing, yelling, destroying the officials. These are human beings. We're having an official shortage. Please, it's okay to boo. It's okay but let's not be personal. Let's be thankful because we're having such a hard time finding officials. I know that there's games being canceled in other parts of the country. Be thoughtful, be considerate. Boo, but let's not be personal. I mean, we want to be respectful of folks. This is America, and we want to be thoughtful of others.
Coach Johnson, we've talked about that a lot on the show about how officials, they're retiring, they're getting out of it. It's not worth the time. It's not worth the harassment. We have all seen parents and fans follow officials. It's ludicrous to me that at a high school sport event, we have to have a cop walk officials back to their locker room. You're 100% right. Booing is part of the job. Yelling, you don't like the call, is a part of the job. But taking it to the next level, we have got to do better as adults. Pep, you wanted it last tonight, brother. Who you got?
Can I do two?
Pep, it is your show. You can do whatever you want to.
Sam Griner. Thanks for watching.
The undefeated Sam Griner.
Came on the other side. But I'm going to slime the game show. I feel like it was rigged. It was rigged. We're on a sports show. It should be sports questions. You're talking preps. Why are they not prepped questions? Come on, man. Now my other slime. Oh, let me go solo on that. My other slime is the Denver Broncos head coach. What in the blue hell are you doing? 4th and 5. Was it 50 seconds left in the game? And you're playing for a 64-yard field goal to win the game? Or was it tied? I think they tied the game. Seriously? With Russell Wilson as your quarterback? I can understand if it was Baker Mayfield. I mean, shoot, 64-yard field goal is probably a better chance than, getting the 4th and 5 from that. But come on, man. You let the time run all the way off the clock and then call a timeout for a 64-yard field goal? Good Lord, man. We've seen kickers miss, what was it, in the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game? Kickers are missing 29-yard field goals, chip shots to win the game. I mean, good Lord, if you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan, you got to be losing your mind. But we calling timeouts and running the clock down with Russell Wilson, an MVP at quarterback, for a 64-yard field goal. I love kickers. But I had a great coach tell me one time, I'm not putting it in a kicker's hands ever. And he never did. Oh, man, we love you kickers, but, hey, man, you got to let the team win it or lose it, especially when you got an MVP quarterback. Same thing, like Brandon said with the Panthers, man. Playing conservative, it don't win you championships, man. It don't win you championships. And that's my slime for tonight.
Panthers, man. Well, I will say, man, I won't really blame it on the Panthers a lot. They got cheated, man. On the you can't fake spike it, then spike it.
Oh,
NFL rule.
What the hell?
But it's every year with you guys, man. Putting your trust and faith in those Carolina Panthers, man.
That's fine. That's fine, Big Shelby.
Don't understand.
Listen, we got several slimes tonight. Let's see here.
But it was crazy about the Denver game. The other game, though.
Yeah. I was sitting there watching, like, what in the hell are they doing?
You paid that man all that money just to kick a field goal.
Chat administrator sliming me for picking against the Panthers.
The reason why they lost.
God, naughty. That's crazy. I was right, though. I was right. Terrence Losh says, slime the NCAA. And he says, the NCAA has instructed college football programs to remove the names of any student athletes who entered the transfer portal since the new portal windows went into effect on August 31st. What does that mean exactly? All right, well, that's the slime. Joe Hughes. Slime and Gaston, yes. Good Lord. What in the world? What is that about?
How does that happen?
I don't know. It's been like going on since what, last school year?
If you don't know, the story goes that Gaston County teachers have not been paid their correct pay since January, I've heard. Some of them are short $1,500 a paycheck.
God almighty. It's crazy. Let's see here. Terrell Pinckney, my Dallas Cowboys. That was pretty ugly.
Safe to say, we just gonna win that division this year. Them Eagles, baby. It's gonna be a clean sweep for us, baby.
Who'd y'all beat?
Detroit.
All right, that ain't a real team. Okay.
I bet you they beat the Panthers.
Enjoyed the show though. Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
Slime every restaurant that can't get it done.
That's all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a lot of them.
Chick-fil-A is amazing, man. I saw somewhere they're doing a test run with chicken wings at Chick-fil-A.
No, I think that was fake.
That was fake. I see.
Yeah, you know that wasn't happening at Chick-fil-A.
That's terrible. Reggie Lee. Slime the 49ers losing to Chicago. Jimmy G.
See, but Fields didn't play bad, though, I don't think. I mean, Lance. I don't think Lance played bad.
Really?
49ers had like 200 yards in penalties. That would do it every time.
Yeah, so it ain't really on the quarterback, man. And it was raining too, man. That's a crazy game.
Jesus. Big Shelby, this is for you. There you go.
Joey Hayes, man.
All right, let's do best of the comments. Let's see if we had any from the show we didn't miss. Robert Washington from Mountain Island talking about your slime there, Kenneth.
3 days of pay I missed out on.
Good gracious, man. That was not right. That was not right. We got a lot of comments tonight. Good gracious. Let's see here. Chat administrator had to talk about you, Big Shelby.
Come over to acting like Mooresville, man. That's all. Picking you guys. I'm picking you guys, man. Kyle. You told me to pick y'all. Pick y'all. That's what happens to me. Ain't no loyalty in this pick 'em no more. My loyalty going out the window. I'm going for wins only.
That's a sound strategy when you're 9-14. Sound strategy.
Try something new.
Oh
Yes.
God.
I'm trying to pick people, man, that I'm loyal.
Jason Bass says Independence will upset some teams in the playoffs this year. Well, will it be an upset? That's a question there. I don't know by that time, but we'll see. I think that might be most of the comments right there. Oh, wait a minute. I missed my buddy Marquine Petty. He came in there. We always got to get Marquine Petty on the show.
There it is. Kings Mountain by 75.
Oh, there was a conversation about food when Big Shelby said they wasn't getting fed anymore, so we got a couple comments from that. If my computer would act right, what is going on here? Okay, so we talked about the media. Marquine Petty says, if you come to Kings Mountain, check with me. Joe Hughes has deals behind Charlie. I think Charlie's in some kind of legend over at Kings Mountain. Oh, Mr. Charlie's a legend. Okay, y'all know who Mr. Charlie is? I don't know Mr. Charlie.
Never heard of him.
All right, well. Let's see. Talking about sandwiches. Cherryville and Burns have bologna sandwiches.
Well, we're going to Cherryville Friday. I might get me one. I'm up in the box, man. I'm gonna get me a bologna sandwich.
Press box food is the best. Oh, that was the best.
Shout out to Hot Bright, man. That's one thing I want to say. Shout out to Hot Bright, man. Had us some Chick-fil-A chicken mayonnaise and some Krispy Kreme. You know, shout out to those guys, man.
I'll tell you who had the best press box food. You won't believe it. Hunter Huss.
Oh, I can't believe it. There's a bunch of black people over there, man.
Oh man,
a bunch of soul food over there, man.
Yes, it was amazing.
You had time. You over there eating chicken and dumplings.
I think it was a big chicken sandwich, man. I had hot sauce, man. Good gracious. I forgot what I was doing up there. I was supposed to be calling plays.
That's crazy, man.
Next Gen Hollis is slamming the Sun Belt Conference. Ooh.
Next Gen gonna make me slime him if I don't get my pictures, man.
When were the Patriots taking, Big Chef? When were they taking?
Chambers working you too hard, man. You gotta be able to, man, at least get my pictures done. Man.
How long you been waiting, man?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just joking. We be texting every other day, so he's good.
All right. Last one right here. Kenneth McLean Rock president. Well, I think that's a good way to end the show right there. That might be a ticket we can all get behind.
Vice President Monroe.
You don't want that.
You coming with me, Big Shelby. All the way to the big house.
Oh, yeah. I'll come on.
That'd be an interesting political platform right there.
But yeah, we definitely, everywhere we go, we're going to have chicken wings everywhere we go. Man.
That's what I was getting ready. We're throwing out chicken wings at restaurants.
We ain't paying for the sauce either.
I should have slimed them again because I still can't stop thinking about how they got over.
It's worth the double slime.
Coach Johnson, thank you for putting up with all of our shenanigans tonight. It was great having you on the show. We greatly appreciate it. On Oh, well, I won't put that one up. On behalf of Big Shelby, the Engine, and Professor Kim McClaren, I'm Pet Man Matt Morrow. Thank you for watching an extended Football Focus Weekly. Good night, everybody.